43 million Americans are living in poverty, a staggering number. The poverty rate among African Americans is almost 3 times higher than those of whites. Award-winning journalist and author Will Haygood has studied poverty in the Black community, and he's lived it. Haygood is best known for his Washington Post story about a White House butler named Eugene Allen. That story inspired the hit film, The Butler. His memoir, The Haygoods of Columbus, will be in bookstores for the second time next week. It's his story of growing up poor and Black in Columbus, Ohio. Will, thanks so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Very, very nice to be here.
So one critic of your book said the story could be, quote, a textbook case of poverty and dysfunction in the African-American family. Would you characterize it that way? And why did you decide to write this book about your life?
I wanted to write a book about a street in the middle of America and how that street, because of urban renewal, vanishes. But then when I started writing the book, my editor wanted more of the family story. And my mother, who was born in Selma, Alabama, had moved to the east side of this city in 1968, and that was the year of the riots there. And so I was 14 years old that year and saw all of these massive changes after the death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And so years roll on, and I become a journalist and an author, and I thought it would be a great saga to revisit. And I was the first one in my family to go to college. And yet we all came up under the same roof. And I wondered why I was able to get out and the others were not. And for a writer to visit that story seemed to be a big challenge for me.
You and your siblings went in different directions.
Yes. Some got on the wrong side of the law. There was substance abuse. There was drinking. We were on welfare, very little money week to week. And so I knew that wasn't the life that I wanted. And so I studied and did well in school, went to college and became a writer. And writers look for stories, and that was a story to write about.
You've said that growing up poor, as a poor Black family, is different than growing up as a poor white family. What do you mean by that?
Well, in this country, there's the factual history of this country and slavery and segregation. And when you add poverty to that, all the problems just seem to multiply. And when it seems that your government is against you, that deepens the misery, be it with the criminal justice system or with a segregated school system. The battle is just larger if you're poor Black in the inner city as opposed to poor white in a West Virginia hollow.
Speaking of that, you went to Appalachia when you were a reporter for the Globe, Boston
Yes.
Globe.
Yep.
Talk about what you learned there and what you saw that was different from your upbringing.
Yeah, well, you hear a lot of stereotypical feelings, sentiments about the other race of people. Even if a lot of poor whites hadn't spent time around a lot of poor Blacks, they had these preconceived notions that poor Blacks were taking advantage of the system.
You say the white working class, poor people that have been credited with giving Donald Trump his victory, but he exploited them. What did you mean by that?
And we've had examples of this in history. Huey Long and other politicians who have pitted one socioeconomic class against the other. And you can point to that class and tell the other class, these people are taking advantage of you, and I'm the only one with the answer, and I'm going to fix it, and you'll feel better than those other people. It often does not end well for the people who are oppressed and hurting. They will find it hard to rise up on that type of rhetoric.
What will work well for these folks?
I think better education, more discussion. If a poor white person has a specific problem and they share that problem with a poor black person, I think that they'll understand, wow, we're both in this same boat. So we both have to hook up and we both have to inspire each other so we can, row our boat together as a team. And I think that's the only thing really that will bring more hope to people who are suffering.
Fascinating life you've led, stories you've been able to tell, and we really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.